What's up, everybody? Welcome back for another episode. This is going to be part two of my boats. The last one was my small vessel boat for my tournaments, my little pond prowler. So this one is going to be about my bass boat. First and foremost, before we get started with kind of the overview of my boat and I take you out and show you what it is and everything, I have a great story about this boat. This boat is really special to me. And the reason it is because I have wanted another bass boat for a really long time. Like probably 6 or 7 years I've wanted another bass boat because I used to own a bass boat. It was an old 1988 Venture Tournament Edition, and I loved that boat. But financial reasons came about and I needed to sell it. So I sold it. Terrible thing to happen when someone has to sell their boat. I know sometimes you have to do what you got to do, but I really didn't want to sell it, but I needed the money, so I sold it. But for the longest time, I've wanted another bass boat, and it just seems financially I never could get there. I work hard, work as many hours as I could at work, do side work, and it just never seemed to happen. There always seemed to be something that needed to happen first. Everybody knows adulting, there's responsibilities, and you have a lot of stuff on your plate, especially, you own a house, you have car payments, insurance is expensive, I have a beautiful son. So, life happens, and it just didn't work out, but I was still hanging in there, I'll get it one day. And so my prayer, I don't know, most of you probably know, I'm a Christian. I truly believe that God works in amazing ways. And I prayed for a long time, Lord, help me to do what I need to do to be able to get into a financial situation, to be able to afford another boat, whether that was going and paying cash for a nice used one or financing one and just making payments on it. My prayer was to be able to do that. So that was my prayer for a long time. And it just, like I said, never really seemed to happen. And so it was a Saturday. I can't even remember the date, but it was a Saturday. I had just fished a big tournament that my bass club was doing. And I got home, didn't do so well that day in the tournament, so I was a little bit down, but it worked out. I think I got big bass for that tournament, but we had a big storm come through and it blew us off the water. So I didn't have time to really finish my limit, didn't have time to do everything I wanted to do. So it was kind of a bad day. I got big bass. That's great. I'm really happy for that, but the day didn't seem complete. So I was a little bit down. And so I'm getting ready to go get a shower and just, clean up and chill, eat some dinner. And Kate, my wife, comes out to say, "Hey, you gotta come check this out." And I was kind of confused. I'm like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Can I finish, going to get in the shower or whatever?" She says, "No, you need to come out here right now. There's something here." And I was like, "Okay." So she takes me to the front door of the house and opens up the house, and there is a bass boat sitting in front of my house. And someone who wants to remain anonymous bought me this bass boat. And I cried like a little baby because it feels like I've been waiting for so long. But somebody bought me this boat. Their story to Kate was that God told them that they needed to do this. And so what an amazing thing for somebody to do, especially listening to God speak to them for something like that. I mean, you think of different things, somebody needs some financial help or something like that. This was a boat, so I mean, it wasn't a necessity, but it's something I really wanted, and I wanted it bad. And I prayed for it for a long time, and God pulled through for me and told this person that, they needed to do this. So crazy story. I know a lot of you are going to be like, this guy's whacked out, but trust me, God works in amazing ways when you stay faithful and you stay true to him. And So this boat was a gift. It was completely free to me. The only thing that I had to do was get it registered, get the tag put on the trailer, all of that stuff. But other than that, this boat was a complete gift. It's a massive blessing, and it truly changed my life, the fact that this happened. So anyway, let's get into it. I'm going to show you the boat. It's pretty cool, and I will see you there. All right, guys. So here is boat number 2. Love this boat. Huge blessing in my life. This is gonna really do a lot of things for me, and I'll get into that a little bit more here, probably towards the end of the video. But this is a 1987. Yes, I said 87. It's in great shape. 1987 Hydrasport Cobra 100. And I cannot find much on these boats. I think this particular model was kind of a one-off, because it seems like Hydrasport did that. They would make a couple of one boat and then they would move on to the next best thing. But Hydrasport also was known as Stratus and Javelin. So this is the same boat company. They just sold out a couple times. But this is a 1987, still all original paint and everything. I mean, this thing was definitely garage kept. So it's in wonderful shape. No soft spots on the floors, anything like that. It's a really, really solid boat. And so we'll just start from the front and kind of work our way back. So up here on the front, this is obviously not the original trolling motor. This was the Motor Guide XI3 that I had on my pond prowler. And to save a little bit of money for now, this trolling motor will work fine for this boat. It works great. I love that trolling motor. Eventually, I will go up to probably a 70-pound thrust or something like that, just so I have a little bit more oomph. But it does move this boat just fine. Goes through grass just fine, so that'll work great for now. Moving along. Original seats. It still has all 4 original seats, which is awesome. It's pretty neat to have the original seats to go off of, with the Hydrasport embroidery on it, or however you say that. Don't judge me, I didn't go to college. But really cool to have the original seats. The gel coat is actually in really good shape on this boat for its age. That's why I tend to believe it was garage kept. So original carpet, which it is stained, it's old. I mean, it's 87. So eventually I will be replacing the carpet in this boat, but I'm kind of waiting on until I decide exactly what I want to do. So this is a pretty small deck. They didn't build bass boats with huge decks back in the day. They didn't have big rod lockers or anything like that. But I think to make the space in this boat more efficient and just work better for the amount of tackle that I do carry, I think that I am going to end up building a nice deck extension right in there and just bring it back to, I don't know, somewhere right in here, or I don't know, I might go all the way back, but I still want to leave a little bit of foot room up there. This is actually a smaller boat. It's not a huge boat. I would put it in the between 16 and 17 foot range, just, you know, basing it off of what it looks like, because I had a 18-foot boat. But this would help a lot with tackle storage. It would also give me more walking space up here on the front deck. So I'm going to work on that, and I think when I do that project, when I tackle that, I will also tackle the floors and the carpet and all that, you know, and I'll figure out something with that. I might end up going with sea deck. I might end up, just because it's an all original boat, I might end up trying to find the same blue carpet just to keep it classic. So let me know in the comments down below what your suggestions would be for that, because I'm always open to suggestions on my little projects here. So, but that's to come. So I will keep you guys in the loop with that, and probably make a video on how I end up doing that. I might even do a full build video, we'll see. But anyway,
So there's the rod locker over there. It actually doesn't have much storage at all. This right here is just a small storage compartment. I need to clean everything out really good, but small storage compartment. This up here is actually a second live well, but I am not going to be using it as a live well. I will probably end up using it as tackle storage. So yeah, not a live well anymore. The rod locker over there, which is basically just going to be tackle storage as well, or I might end up shoving life jackets or anything like that in there. You know, I'm not really sure how I want to play that just yet, because it definitely does not work for modern day rods, because most of my rods are anywhere from 6.5 foot on up to 7'11", depending on, you know, how I'm fishing. So definitely not going to function as a rod locker, but it will definitely function as storage. And I think building that little deck extension in there will make that a little more functional. So anyway, moving along, the console, very, very small, very tight console. And that's not a bad thing. Like I said, they built these boats almost like race boats. So they're really fast on the water. And so I think the design that they were going with was to build a race style boat. So to keep everything small, keep tight, keep you low down in the hull. But it's actually pretty comfortable. I'm a bigger guy, and it's relatively comfortable for me. So all original gauges, which is amazing to me. That blows my mind. And all of the gauges work, which is amazing. So that's pretty cool. Again, original seats, which eventually later on down the road, because of how special this boat is to me and because of the blessing that it was, I think I'm gonna end up eventually probably completely restoring this boat to its original brilliance, besides, you know, doing the little upgrade of the deck extension and all that. I really want to probably eventually get new seats made for this boat, just like the original seats. So it'll look like I have OEM seats, but, you know, just spiffy it up a little bit. You know, they're a little bit faded, but that'll be later on down the road. Right now, I'm just looking to get out on the water. So that's the whole purpose of this. But really, really clean. It's amazing how nice they were able, whoever owned this boat before, how they were able to keep this boat looking as good as it does. So really, really excited about this bass boat. But anyway, moving on back, that big center box right there, that is a huge live well, and it's plenty of space in that live well for me to hold a limit of fish during a tournament or whatever. And then moving on back here, you've got two big storage hatches, which is great. So there's one on this side, one on that side over there. And this boat was actually built pretty well. It seems like all of the hatches and the floors were built out of some kind of material that completely resist water. Because like I said, there is no soft spots on this boat whatsoever. There is no, it's all really, really solid. Let me just put it that way. It's really solid and built well. But anyway, moving on back, you can see the gel coat actually still really shines. I don't know if the camera does it justice, but it still really shines for its age. And oh, up here, I forgot to show you the little switch panel. I hope you can see that. The switch panel, all original switches, and they all function, which is crazy that this is a 1987 with all the original switches and functions. So really, really cool. Moving on back, we have the 1987 Mercury 90 horsepower oil injected engine. And this thing runs like a top. You open up the cowling and it just looks amazing on the inside. Super clean, no leaks. It's pretty awesome. So, and you know, for a fiberglass boat, my first thought was a 90 horse. Man, that boat might, you know, drag a little bit. It might not have too much get up and go about it. But this boat with just me in it I have no doubt that I'm going to be able to get up to 48, 49 miles per hour, maybe faster if I have nothing in the live wells, nothing in the hatches. It's actually a pretty quick boat, which for me, 40 miles an hour is like the sweet spot. If I can go 40 on the water, I am happy. But the engine runs really good, pushes this boat pretty good. It's a little slow getting up on plane, but I don't care. I'm not in a huge hurry to take off or anything like that. I know I do tournament fish, but I'm typically the guy that when everybody else is taking off and trying to get to their spot quick, I'm just trying to get out of everybody's way, let the crowd go their way, and I will go whichever way I need to go. But the motor does push it pretty well. And if you do have any suggestions about maybe how to get this boat on plane a little quicker, let me know, because it wouldn't hurt. So give me some ideas if you have any ideas of how to get this boat out of the hole a little bit quicker. But runs really nice, runs really smooth, handles rough water pretty good so far. I think the other day, me and my wife took it out, and we probably had 2-foot swells and rode like a dream. No problems there. The trailer is the original trailer that was built for this boat. It's a custom hauler, but really solid trailer, still in pretty good shape. There's a few little rusty spots on it, you know, where the paint's wore off and everything, but I'll end up cleaning that up at some point. But yeah, man, there's the boat. Really, really nice boat, huge blessing in my life. And I plan to do awesome things in this boat. I plan to do a lot of video footage in this boat and hopefully win some tournaments out of it. So I almost fell. But anyway, just kind of going around a little bit, showing you. But really cool old boat, man. It's such a huge blessing. I'm gonna have a lot of fun out of this. I can also take my family out in this. You know, I mean, fishing out of a pond prowler, you can't, it's not really a family boat. So this one will allow me to take my little boy, my wife, and my little boy to come, because we have a new baby on the way coming next year. So excited about that. But this is going to be a good little family boat to go out and have some fun, get some fish, teach my boys how to fish, and raise them up right. But guys, if you have any questions about this boat or this video, anything in this video, let me know. If you have any suggestions for this boat, throw them out there. I'm always open to ideas. I'm always open to any suggestions that you may have to help me out, you know, make things a little bit better, especially when it comes to storage, you know, things like that. So, well, everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content. I'm really excited about what's coming for this channel, because I plan on, especially with a bass boat, I'm going to be able to fish a little bit more and be able to go to some of the bigger lakes and things like that. So I'm really excited what this boat's going to do for me. I really want to give you guys some great footage, especially on the water footage eventually, once I'm able to get some decent cameras and things like that. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions at all about the boat, let me know. If you have any suggestions, you know, ideas to improve the boat, let me know. I'll take all the suggestions I can get. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this content, and I will see you on the next one.